All right, this Fox News alert, a closed-door briefing getting underway right now as senators meet with Pentagon officials on the Taliban prisoner swap that freed Army Sergeant Bergdahl and why he apparently left his post the night he was captured. The House was briefed yesterday, and many members were less than pleased with the information they received.
We heard nothing except continued excuses about why they didn't come to Congress. I didn't get any good answer as to why 5 Taliban, high-ranking Taliban, were traded and why that was a good deal. And so I think people probably are leaving there even more disappointed than they walked in. So.
Sounds like you are.
Oh yeah. I expected something, but I got nothing. So I mean, look, they believe Congress doesn't have a role to play here.
Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel is joining us live now on Capitol Hill. Mike, good morning to you. What more have we heard about the House briefing on this Bergdahl swap?
Well, Uma, good morning. Multiple sources say that lawmakers were told last night that 80 to 90 officials at the White House, State Department, Pentagon, and elsewhere were aware of the Bergdahl swap ahead of time, while key members of Congress were not told. A real slap in the face. I'm also told that House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi at one point stood up in the closed-door briefing and defended the president's actions, which members of Congress tell me is unprecedented, and that New York Congressman Gerald Nadler at one point compared the status of the Taliban as a non-state actor to soldiers of the American Revolution. Multiple members who were in the meeting tell me it was a very, very rough meeting, and much of what they heard was stuff that they had already read about or seen in the media. Uma?
So most of that came from the media, stuff that they already knew about. What about the concerns about the swap, the fact that it could hurt our American troops and Afghan civilians?
Well, I'm told some members drilled down on the idea of whether the Taliban 5 may be a risk to Afghan civilians and also to American citizens. And I am told that some of the briefers admitted there may be some risk of these 5 guys returning to terror activities or the battlefield. That comes after Secretary of State John Kerry over the weekend tried to neutralize those concerns, calling them baloney and hinting that Americans and others would be closely monitoring. Briefers acknowledged there could be some risk, and of course the briefings continue today here on Capitol Hill. Uma?
More questions and answers. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. And I know you'll be staying on the story and briefing us as more information becomes available.
Thank you, Uma.
Questions about whether or not the story is changing yet again. Lawmakers are apparently told the president was not the one to pull the trigger on the swap. It was Chuck Hagel, defense secretary, who made the final call to exchange the 5 hardened terrorists for Sergeant Bergdahl. One lawmaker says the secretary might be just be the fall guy here. Listen.
Are you saying Secretary Hagel made this decision, or was this the President of the United States? It was the President of the United States that came out with the Bergdahls and took all the credit. And now that there's been a little pushback, he's moving away from it. It's Secretary Hagel. I don't think so.
Well, we'll talk to that man right there. That's Armed Services Committee Chairman Buck McKeon in a matter of moments. Still, we'll get his thoughts on this and figure out who's talking what, to whom, and why. And you've got big hearings tomorrow with Chuck Hagel on the Hill, so we'll talk about that, too.
Definitely worth watching. All right.